Stephanie Reyes has been plagued by this horrible nightmare of a disaster centered around her estranged grandmother, Iris. She learns that that wasn't just a dream, but rather a premonition. A premonition that allowed Iris to stop the disaster before it began. However, Death doesn't like it when you mess with his plans. And he also doesn't like it when you have children when you weren't supposed to. Now Iris, her children, and her grandchildren are on Death's hit list, and they rush to find a way to put a stop to the curse before it's too late. This is Final Destination: Bloodlines. Final Destination: Bloodlines is the 6th film in the Final Destination franchise. And I am going to come clean here and say, similarly to Saw, I have never actually sat through an entire Final Destination movie. I've seen almost every single scene that you probably need to have seen online at way too young of an age. And I also kinda have the gist of them all through the dead meat kill counts. So shout out to them for making torture porn digestible for normies like me. But my curiosity got the better of me, and I saw Final Destination: Bloodlines, and it was actually alright. I expected a torture porn spectacle, and I got a torture porn spectacle. And it's pretty good at what it wants to be. Now, these films have made names for themselves by turning everyday objects into objects of horror, with some of the most gruesome, but albeit downright comical deaths of the franchise. This is the film that really pushed the government to stop making pennies, and you can't convince me otherwise. Now, me personally, I heard rumors of a certain medical appliance being involved in a certain scene in this film, a certain medical appliance that I see a lot of. And really, this is karma for me complaining that there wasn't a scene in Saw X that featured an MRI. Final Destination doesn't chicken out. Luckily, they found a way to make the kill a lot more digestible for people who see MRI machines a lot, and I greatly appreciate that. MRI machines in general are fucking horrifying. Have you ever had to have a brain MRI? They put you in this like Iron Maiden mask. It is truly a thing of nightmares, and I hate doing it, but sometimes you just gotta. Maybe I'm just spoiled by the great practical effects used in the Terrifier movies, but the CGI here is not great. I almost want to say it adds to the 2000s era camp to the film, but maybe that's just a lot of cope. Maybe the CGI just doesn't look amazing. But here's the thing. Now, I can kind of see why these movies were so popular to be turned into short little clips online of just them trying to rush to save someone before they die, because when it's not focused on that, the movie's kind of boring. The characters just aren't the most interesting nor compelling enough to carry the film on their own. They're funny. Some of them are extremely funny, but they just aren't that interesting. The opening premonition disaster is actually pretty awesome, but once that happens, it feels like the film takes a bit to actually get to the meat of the franchise. That said though, the actors are all great when the film picks up. I really liked Gabrielle Rose as this paranoid old woman who has evaded death for years. I would have loved to have seen more of her in the film. And of course, I have to mention the late Tony Todd, because this was his final film. He may only have one scene in the film, but it really hits, especially his final line. It's one of those instances where the actors know that they might not be here much longer and really want to say goodbye to all the fans who come to watch these movies. In context of the film, too. It's something so beautiful to see an actor get to do that, and every actor would be so lucky to do something like that. Semi-related, if you want to see more Tony Todd, a great role of his in recent memory was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Fantastic game, and he is great in it too. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. Now, I really enjoy the, I guess I'm going to call it Fatal Curse, that these films present a whole lot more than the ones in the Smile movies. If you're new around here, I do not like the Smile movies in the slightest. I find them egregiously overrated. The curse in this film is a lot like the TVA in a weird way. Potentially more efficient too. I do almost want to say there's a plot hole in this movie that just doesn't really make sense with the rules set in place. But I'm also willing to accept that maybe, just maybe, the plot holes might just be this franchise's thing. Also, and this is just kind of a me thing, I kind of wish that death had a face in these movies. If nothing else, I just wish they created their own Grim Reaper. I think that would have been cool, because you never see the Grim Reaper utilized that much in media anymore, and I think that'd been cool. That's just me, though. The best Grim Reaper is still owned by Billy and Mandy. Remember when they had an episode of Billy and Mandy and Grim became human and he's white? Because everyone on the crew was like, maybe it's a bad idea if we have these two kids own a black man. I can see why. I honestly was not expecting to enjoy this as much as I did, especially after I found out it was directed by the people who brought us the Disney Channel original movie Kim Possible and the Dead Rising movie. I'm not the type of person to go into a movie for the first time and expect it to suck, but those two movies being on your resume definitely didn't help. But you surprised me here, so you get a point. This is a fun, dark comedy, and I feel the word comedy is applicable. The way death comes after these people is so funny in a weird way. I can only use the term comedy. I definitely wasn't a fan of the ending, but from what I've gathered, this is kind of just the franchise's thing. And the downtime kind of drags, but overall, I was definitely entertained. And if you're a fan of the franchise, I think you will be too. I hope you all enjoyed this review. And if you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ring that bell to be notified when my next review drops. Until next time, I'm Quint Dunaway, hoping you will keep it cinematic.